What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another brand new F1 2020 My Team Career Mode video. We're here today for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and didn't really know what to think when coming into this race, to be honest. Yeah, we haven't got a real great power unit, it must be said. Obviously running with Honda is, probably not going to make things any easier for ourselves, but yeah, we've got the fourth worst power unit in the field, I think. And yeah, that's definitely going to make things harder for us than what I would ideally like. But we might be able to work our way around that with setup. Time will tell on that front, I guess. But anyway, we'll see what we can do, shall we?
We're going to be logging some extra data during this session. Nothing you need to worry about, but as we have some new parts, we'll just confirm they're performing to spec.
Alrighty, so we'll cut over to FP1 now. And I got to admit, I actually struggled quite a bit in free practice 1 to start off with. Really just struggling with a very unbalanced race car. It was very oversteery, it was very slidey, and really more than anything, I was actually just struggling to put the power down, particularly through the end of Sector 1 and Sector 2 through the castle section, like where we are right now. That was one area where I was really struggling. I just couldn't get the power down. The back wheels just wouldn't grip up, and I'd just be bursting into wheel spin. You can even see there out of turn 2, we got a bit sideways. So I made a lot of setup adjustments in this first practice session. I probably changed the setup like at least half a dozen times. And in the end, I finally found something which I did like the feel of. It made the car a lot more stable. I was actually able to get some traction as well. And yeah, in general, the car felt quite nice. So at the end of FP1, we actually end up in position 1 on the soft compounded tyres, however. So that's definitely not the true representation of where we stand. But still pretty good, as resource points now up to 643. Might look at doing a upgrade after this episode, or maybe at the end of this episode. We'll wait and see what goes on. Team acclaim, not looking too shabby, probably be at level 9, maybe by Canada, I'd probably say. Oh, I hope so, at least. I think by the time we get to level 10, I think that's when you can have a third secondary sponsor on the car. So be interesting to see what we can do with all that. But anyway, here for qualifying now. Dry session, same for the race as well, so we don't have to worry about any weather interfering, thank goodness, as Baku is difficult enough to get right in the dry. I couldn't imagine what it'd be like in the rain. Sebastian Vettel, fastest lap 1:37.6. We crossed the line for a 39.7. Half a second down on, I couldn't actually see who that was, but we're behind our teammate as well. So that's not too good. But looking at our final lap of the session now, like normal, a fast forwarded time right to the end. And I don't think, actually, we might be the last car across the line looking at the track map there. Or no, not quite. I don't know, it's too hard to tell. But anyway, about half a second up now as we come to basically what I'd call the final corner. We've got to make sure we get a good run out of here. We bunny up the inside curve a little bit there. That's not going to do us any favours. We do have Sergio Perez just ahead. Now the aim was actually to try and stay close enough to get a slipstream down this long front straight, but unfortunately that has not worked, and we're only going to improve by about half a second, and that is not going to get us out of Q1, I don't think. Where do we end up with that time? It is only P19. Oh boy. So 19th position on the grid for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Honestly, I'm probably not too surprised by that, to be honest. That's really where our car probably stands around here. Azerbaijan really is a power track, and obviously any drag reduction upgrades, engine upgrades, or weight reduction upgrades all that type of stuff is going to help. And we don't really have a lot of them on the car. So, yeah, we do out-qualify Mick Schumacher only just by just under a tenth of a second. So basically matching our teammate here today. We out-qualify the two Williams, so that's something at least. At least we're not last. But, yeah, we definitely have not made things easier for ourselves this afternoon. It's going to be a P19 start. The rivalry with Kimi Räikkönen, I don't want to speak too soon, but it looks like we are going to win that. We've got 5 points ahead in our favour. So we're looking good in terms of the rivalry. A bit more team acclaim, so that's all nice and dandy there. But I think it's about time we get ready to go to this race and see just what is waiting for us.
Tough luck there. It's not quite where we'd want to be on the grid, but chin up, it's not the end of the world.
I wouldn't say it's the end of the world either, but it's certainly not going to make our day any easier. But anyway, guys, having a look at the weather, as you can see, dry race, so we don't have to worry about wet tyres or inters. You can imagine how absolutely dreadful that'd be. That'd just be absolutely shocking. But anyway, I think that's everything that I need to run through. There's nothing left, so without further ado, let's get into the race, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. From 19th on the grid, this is going to be a tough one. Let's go.
A warm welcome to all of you watching at home to today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and a race that in its short history has already proven no stranger to drama. A fourth row start is just about as likely to give you a podium as a pole position would. And remember, in 2017 and 2018, both Lance Stroll and then Sergio Perez took surprise podiums here. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. And with me as usual is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we discuss McLaren? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Albon, Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Perez and Antonio Giovinazzi, Ocon, Norris, Carlos Sainz and Stroll, Magnussen, Kvyat, Pierre Gasly and Roman Grosjean, Lee, Schumacher, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Alright, thank you very much, Crofty, for that glowing introduction to the race as always. But welcome guys to the grid of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Strategy, we're going to start on the hard compound tyres. The main reason I was really doing this was fingers crossed for maybe a late race safety car, you know, if we're able to run long and there is a VSC or a full course caution at the end of the race. I don't know, lap 18, lap 20, you know, something around that type of area. I couldn't think of what I wanted to say there, Jesus Christ. But yeah, basically while I'm doing this is I've decided to try and run long and hope for a safety car at the back end of the race. That was basically my reasoning behind that. I think Mick Schumacher might be on the same strategy, or he's on mediums. I'm not too sure. We'll have a look at that in a moment. But I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but we do get a safety car, but that's all I'm going to say. So yeah, I want to try and keep you guys watching, and yeah, you'll see what happens soon enough. But anyway, here we are, reformed, back on the grid. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Again, the lights held for absolutely ever. But it looks like a decent launch compared to everybody around us. Schumacher was on the hard tyres as well, I just noticed that. I think that was Grosjean going for a Hail Mary dive up the inside into T1 there. We went around the outside trying to follow Pierre Gasly, and it looks like we might have made this work up to P15 now as we overhaul the Frenchman. So once again, been a really good start for us. Obviously the start is really where we've got to try and make positions. We almost collide with Lando Norris there, and as a result had to lock up the fronts, try to take avoiding action. Romain Grosjean almost come back at us there around the outside while all that was going on, but luckily we were able to fend him off. On to the end of lap 1 there, it's Rich overtake on Lando Norris down this massive front straight. No contest, he doesn't try and defend, and we get past the McLaren, and that is now up into 14th position. So good start to the race so far. Next up, Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon right there as well. I think there is somebody in front of Ocon on the hards. I'm not quite sure who that is. I can't quite tell from back here. But looking up at the front, it looks like Mercedes are once again walking away with this race. Don't want to speak too soon, but the Silver Arrows definitely seem to have the edge over Ferrari at the moment. Hopefully the Scarlet Red cars might be able to fight back, but anyway, we'll see what happens a bit further down the line. But coming up to lap 6, we're now trying to attack Pierre Gasly. Down into turn 1, we go completely deep, massive lockup on the left front there. Gasly gets us back, but now down into turn 2, we're going to try the old cut back on the Frenchman, and that works beautifully there. Gasly on the narrower line into turn 2, runs in too deep, opens the door for us, and we make the move. Cutting on to the end of lap 6, we've got yellow flags up ahead. Looks like it might be Alex Albon. Lando Norris is looking for a move. He had to pull out late, otherwise he was going to completely rear end Albon there. But the Red Bull has collided with another car, hit the wall. Not too sure what has gone on there. Quite a few of the AI that started on the softs are also in the pits there. Sebastian Vettel coming out, and he has now split ourselves and Lando Norris, so we've got a little bit of breathing room just for the moment. Alex Albon is now out of the session, so the Red Bull has retired. So let's just go and see what exactly has happened. They're coming through the fast left-right section, and Albon just loses it completely. I think Kimi Räikkönen has done the exact same as well, just ahead. And yes, he has. So two of the AI making literally the exact same mistake at the exact same spot. That's a really weird error there. But cutting off the lap 7, yellow flags again. It's the other Red Bull of Max Verstappen. Oh my God, how did we get through there? Holy mackerel. Verstappen was parked side on. Now we have a safety car. This is all kicking off here at the end of lap 7. We're going to duck in for a set of medium tyres to hopefully take us to the end of this race.
Maintain positive delta.
My God, I'm almost utterly speechless. How did we make it through that gap there and not completely wipe out ourselves as well as Max Verstappen? I think we definitely got lucky there, but anyway, onto a set of medium tyres now. I don't know if these will actually take us to the end. It'll probably be borderline. Max Verstappen has been disqualified now.
Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace. The safety car is waiting for the leader. You may overtake it. Overtake the safety car.
Okay, is that it, Jeff? Can you leave us alone now? Can we actually get on with everything? Okay, so... oh my, everything has kicked off here in the past 60 seconds. At the end of lap 6, we had Kimi Räikkönen and Alex Albon both bin it. And on the very next lap, Max Verstappen has done the exact same thing, but way worse. He's completely lost it from, I don't even know what position he was actually running in. I think it was around about a top 5. You can see us just fly through the shot there. How we did not actually collect the Dutchman there, I have no idea. That was way too close for comfort. But anyway, we definitely got a bit lucky there, I would say. But on to the end of lap 10, safety car is just about to come in, so racing should be getting back underway any moment. Just waiting for the green. We're already in Rich and overtake, preparing to try and have a lunge at Sebastian Vettel down into turn 1. Vettel, having none of it, sends it up the inside of Hamilton and Antonio Giovinazzi. So an awesome two-car move there from the German. Made that look easy. But anyway, for us, we maintained P10. We got Kimi Räikkönen and Lando Norris right behind us. A couple of the guys, including Norris and a few further back, are actually on soft tyres, so they will have to stop again because there's no chance that you can take softs like 16 laps around here. So that should, you would think, take a bit of pressure off us. As I say, that Lewis Hamilton makes a mistake coming out of the castle section there and had to jam on the brakes a little bit there to make sure he didn't lose the car, and that put us into the clutches of Kimi Räikkönen. We were able to fend him off though, and now, speaking of the Alphas, we're going to try and attack the other one. Antonio Giovinazzi down into turn 3. We're going to try and go the long way around the outside there. We almost missed the corner there. We went in that hot, but we got it stopped right around the outside of the Italian, and that is now up to P7. Next up is Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel and Sergio Perez. This is an effective fight for P4, probably for P6 effectively, because you would think that Vettel and Hamilton would probably get by quite quickly. But cutting up to lap 13, they haven't been able to do it, and now we are actually looking like harassing Lewis Hamilton here as he makes a mistake, and we are going to go by the Mercedes driver. He sends it back up the inside though, not wanting to settle for defeat just yet, but we go right around the outside, turns to the inside, and we keep the position. Not for too much longer, however, as here comes Lewis Hamilton at the end of the lap on the front straight. DRS slipstream, probably rich, an overtake on the RS, and he just goes right back past us. So that was probably a bit of a pointless move really, but anyway, Vettel and Hamilton eventually cleared Sergio Perez, and on to lap 20 now. We're going to try and do the exact same. Look to the outside in turn 1. We go extremely late again on the brakes, just like we did to who was it? Pierre Gasly, I think it was, back at the start of the race. So we seem to be pretty good at performing that overtake around the outside of turn 1. But anyway, on to the end of lap 20, on to lap 21. Daniel Ricciardo now in the pits. Looks like he's going to go on to what? A set of soft tyres. So we've got to watch out for the Renault. He'll be pretty rapid in these last few stages. Top 4 have really streaked away. Nothing we could really do there. I mean, we don't have a car capable of fighting the Ferraris or the Mercedes at the moment. But anyway, cutting on to the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix through the castle for the 25th time. Rear tyres are really going off quite badly. The front tyre was actually non-existent, to be brutally honest, but the rears were just absolutely shocking for the final few laps of this race. But speaking of the final lap, that's exactly what we're on right now. We got Sergio Perez and Daniel Ricciardo right up our gearbox here, and with Ricciardo's pit stop, I forgot to mention, that actually promotes us up into P5 in this race. So we have gotten extremely lucky with a double disaster for Red Bull, and then Kimi Räikkönen making the exact same mistake as well, putting him behind us. And yeah, safe to say we've had quite a lot of luck on our side in this Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, fastest lap to boot, so very impressive drive from Valtteri there. But now this is what it's all going to come down to. We haven't got a lot of ARS to play with, so we're just going to have to use up every last bit of it. Rich overtake Perez. Undoubtedly we'll be doing the same. He's going to have slipstream and DRS here in a moment. This is going to be close. I think we might actually be able to hang on for this, and it looks like we will across the line for P5. How about that?
It's never an easy race here in Azerbaijan. There's drama around every corner, but they've come through to take a brilliant win here today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Alright, so there we go guys, career mode for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix done and dusted. Sergio Perez and Antonio Giovinazzi with 5-second penalties there, not too sure what that's for, but anyway, what a crazy race. 10 points on the board for us, or 10 points added to our tally I should say, but man, the story of this race, double DNF for Red Bull. They will not be happy with that. Completely self-inflicted as well. Total driver error. But man, that is something that I did not expect to see. Championship standings, we jump back up into the top 10 now with that result. So an awesome day at the office for Spiker. Back up to 8th in the Constructors as well. A very crazy, but a very good race for us.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
Well, whatever the strategy was, I don't think it mattered in the end. We just got extremely lucky with that safety car there on lap 7.
You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled.
I reckon Spiker would be thrilled with the top 5. That was us best of the rest today, so very, very cool.
Do you think this team are performing as well as they could do?
I don't think they're doing too bad. Haas is definitely one of the weakest cars on the grid, so they're doing alright, I suppose.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Alright, thank you very much, Claire. And there we go, guys. Azerbaijan officially done and dusted. The rivalry, we have won against Kimi Raikkonen. 5 points in our favour. We struggled a bit at the start, but we've come back and beaten the Alfa Romeo. Team acclaim. I think we might actually get up to level 9, do we? Almost, not quite. Okay, so anyway, sponsorship objectives, we don't complete the total of 75 laps. We fall 4 laps short in the end. Well, that's a tad bit awkward, isn't it? Money up to basically 4.2 million. So looks like we might have a little bit of spending to do. So let's see what we can do, shall we?
Morning, boss. This week's income from the sponsors has cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
Okay, well that is good to know. So we've got a bit of money spare, so we'll fill in the 2 days that we've got for activities. I think, what do we do? I think we'll do some simulator trading to try and help boost our good mate Mick Schumacher, as we really need to get him up the field a bit, because yeah, I feel like he's I don't feel like he's performing as well as he could at this stage in the career mode. Probably could have focused on him a little bit more, but as always, the focus is really on just trying to get the car to its to its best, trying to get every last bit out of the car that we can. And that's the unique thing about this year's career mode as well, is that it's not just a case of trying to improve the car. You know, you've got your second driver to work on, you know, like you own the team. Everything is in your hands. It's your responsibility. And it does make for a nice change. It's nice to actually see something different, I must admit. But anyway, we've got just over $4 million. So what are we going to do? I think we might actually try and upgrade Mick Schumacher a little bit here if we can. We're going to confirm that purchase for the fitness centre, so that should be here just after the Canadian Grand Prix. I looked at doing something in the durability side of things, but didn't bother, and I think the same thought process really for the aerodynamics at the moment. But anyway, I think that's everything for today's episode, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. If you have, well, I don't need to tell you, you guys know what to do like always. But I hope you've enjoyed, and until the next one, the Canadian Grand Prix, hope you're all well, and I'll see you all later.